I graduated from Kunsthøgskolen in Bergen in 2001. But coming from the Department of Photography, I was pretty much working with electronic media. And it's always been fascinating how new technology and apparatuses has really changed our way of perceiving the world, of dealing with the world, also transferred to the way artists are working with the world. And very quickly, after my studies, I moved home to my hometown, realizing that there was no cluster for the kind of arts that I was interested in, which was mainly electronic art. So I managed to track down organizations nationally that was being built up at the time, and has resulted in this wonderful network presented in this booklet, the production network of electronic art in Norway. I'll leave it here so you can have a look at it. So IOLab is the organization that I started to build up in Stavanger. Because, yeah, to create an environment that was interesting and hopefully interesting for others as well. IOLab has been built up a festival called Article Biennial. For you artists around here, there is a call active. The next theme for the fall 2018 is around light, so I'd like to see some interesting projects popping in. But nevertheless, I'm here also to talk about my own art, because I practice also as an artist. It takes a little bit longer time to realize the projects, because I'm really, really busy with IOLab and its activities. But I've had a project going for some years. For those of you who are familiar with Stavanger, it's in the southwest coast of Norway. It's the oil capital of Norway. And the presence of oil industry has pretty much influenced not only me, but my whole generation. And so I'm here to talk about my work, Human Fuel, which is my artistic respondence to the oil industry. So Human Fuel is a work that started off many years ago, back in 2009. And it's been realized over a long, long period. And I'm gonna quickly draw you into this to the story of the project and tell you about it. So in 2009, I found this small article in a newspaper of this surgeon from California who claimed to have used the fat that he sucked out of his patients to make fuel for his Saab. Of course, when the government got to this news, what he was doing, he had to close down his practice, and it was all over the newspapers at the time. And I thought this is disgusting, you know. But nevertheless, he's onto something. He's doing something good here. Such a shame that he has to close down his practice. I mean, the guy has to go somewhere, right? So I was thinking, okay, he can't do his practice in California anymore. He has to go somewhere. Well, maybe he goes to Lithuania. So I made up this company for him called Lipotechnica, based in Lithuania. And they are the producer of Human Fuel. And they collaborate with this surgeon. Okay, I sent him an email telling him about this website and what I was going to do. I never got any reply, so nevertheless. But I got intrigued. I started to research what it takes to make... Can you actually make human fuel? And yes, I mean, people have been making biofuel not only from plants, but from pig fat, from chicken fat. So yes, it's pretty much doable. And after studying also the language and aesthetics of the of the web pages for the oil companies, they always had this kind of social consciousness, this outreach program where they did something good back. So Lipotechnica also had to have that. They are reaching out and offering obese women to go to famine-stricken areas in Africa. On the flight, they will receive a hormone that will induce their lactating abilities. And during the stay, they will be able to breastfeed the children, becoming thin and beautiful. So, and I'm rushing here. Because after this webpage was done, a couple of years went by, and then I was contacted by the curator for Hybrid Matters. He'd heard about the project, and we talked a bit about it, and he was he wanted me to make the human fuel. And I can't just walk into a clinic, plastic surgeon clinic, and say, hey, I need a couple of gallons of fat, human fat, because I'm going to make some art. I mean, that would put me into a very delicate situation and would possibly have spurred some ethical discussions. So it led me into this position. I really had to think long and hard whether I wanted to go through with harvesting fat from my own body, because I'm also a mother to 2 teenage girls. I'm a role model for them. So we had quite long discussions around the table at home, and I explained to them the reason of the project and why I wanted to do it, and it was quite very good conversations. I think one of the most fruitful feedback I got from my oldest daughter is that we were talking about this issue of how we kind of use all the material around us for our own benefits, but we are totally disgusted when we are looking on ourselves as a material. We're also a part of this world. We're also a material, but we don't use ourselves, right? It has gives us a very iffy feeling, has some historical connotations that we really don't want to remember, right? And my daughter said that, well, we don't want to realize or talk about what we are doing to other living beings around us, because it's going to make us realize that we are actually very horrible. We are horrible people. But I went through with it. It's really, really painful, right? And the surgeon, he was kind of a humorist. He took this picture to bit of a show off for you guys. Sorry. But I also found an article that kind of gave into numbers how much mass are we talking about here. If you think of all the people that gets liposuction through a year, it's quite a lot of biomass that's tossed into the biohazard bin, right? I only managed to get about a liter of fat. So this is, I brought it home to my kitchen bench, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can go through this, you know. I have to render it to oil. And the most funny thing was that when I went ahead and made the oil, it was, I wasn't disgusted. I was actually sad. Like I'm destroying something of myself. And then I contacted one of the scientists at my local uni, because I needed to process the oil to biofuel. I was a bit nervous when I was explaining to him what it was about, and I was like, well, you know, we did some trials with chicken fat and lamb fat, and then I'm going to do the other fat. And I mean, it went fine. He was pretty open-minded. So this is me doing the transesterification. That's what it's called. by separating the glycerin from the oil, and then you're left with a product that is biofuel. So the biofuel that I made is actually, I can put it on any diesel engine and it will run. And I usually joke, I was attending every other year we have a huge oil convention in my hometown. So I was attending there because I thought it was hilarious. And I talked to some people and showed this. I can pass it around. Every time the oil industry finds a new oil well, they make these paperweights with raw oil. So I had to make a paperweight of my own. So I brought this to the convention, and I said, "Are you aware that Stavanger is producing the world's most expensive biofuel?" They were like, "What?" So I told them the story. But I doubt it's going to be like a new company built up in Stavanger producing human fuel. It took so much energy in terms of electricity and everything to make it. So I don't view it as an alternative. Come on. I would rather have vehicles that's moved on electromagnetic power. But I think the work is important to do because it puts ourselves into perspective, and we need to change. We really need to change the way we are behaving on this planet. What you see here is the human fuel. While it's made, it's being separated. The lower part is the glycerin. That is the leftover product. And here is the containers with the different fuels that I made. I had to make test batches with lamb and chicken fat, just to see that I could, learn the process and see also the difference of it. It has really different qualities. Like the lamb fuel will solidify under much higher temperatures than chicken fuel. Human fuel is actually it can hold. It doesn't solidify that easily. That's a problem with biofuel, is that it will grease your engine if it's not hot enough. And this is how it was exhibited in the exhibition of Hybrid Matters. There was a model car. I was experimenting with a guy that was building model cars that uses nitro engines or nitro-driven engines. We were supposed to have a car that was actually running in the exhibition, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. We did some tests with the lamb fuel, I think, and it was running. So it would have been possible to run the car on the fuel in the exhibition. Yes. I think I'll stop here.
Thank you very much.